Yo, yo, yo. Welcome, Black. Welcome back. Welcome, Black, to Black America Radio with your host, Rasta B. And on time is my co-host, Smoke. Smoke, are you there?
Yep.
What's going on, man? Before you get in, let me finish off the title. Pause. In Black America Radio, America is hot, and Black Americans are still divided. So the calling number is 516-531-9992. And it's June 5th, 2020. So what's been going on with you, Smoke? Oh, yeah, happy B-Day, Tor. What is he now, 39?
Yeah. Trey now.
Okay. He ain't entering the world of 40s yet.
Yeah, we'd be the same age for like 3 weeks.
Yeah. That's how it is with my family. By the time we get to October, all four of us is a year apart. And then my birthday. No, not October. November. Then we're all a year apart after my brother. Well, I'll say December 1st. Then we're all a year apart. Then my birthday comes, and then I jump up ahead. It's funny like
separate that. From the pack. You separate from the pack.
Speaking of separating from the pack, let's go ahead and talk about some of this shit going on out here in the world.
Oh.
So what's it going on in your state? I'm trying to pull up my notes.
I mean, not much as far as like protesting and shit. You know, we had SC. So Columbia, they had like car burning. I mean, there's been some protests, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, like rallies or whatever you want to, describe them as. But there hadn't really been no violence on that. They had one burned car. That was like maybe a week ago, you know what I'm saying? Like at the beginning of the height of it, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, shit been peaceful. You know, Columbia got Fort Jackson, so ain't too much shit going on. I did hear about a story in like Myrtle Beach police was calling for backup for an incident that happened out there. But for the most part, you really didn't hear any, major violence or looting or nothing like that. Like the malls, like when you heard the other stories and you passed by the malls out here, they had trucks out there, they had police out there, and shit like that. So I guess, it was just taking heed to what was happening in the other states. So I don't know. It wasn't much though.
Yeah, well, I'm out here in Atlanta, so we had the full force of the fucking military and shit. Yeah, this was bugging. But you know what I'm saying? It was interesting, seeing this generation of protesters and things of this nature. And the thing that was quite interesting to me was the way they protest nowadays. Right?
No.
Now, maybe I'm old, so I'm old school, so I'm like, you bash and smash, burn shit up, you know what I'm saying? But what I noticed with these protesters, there was like 3 different protesters, right? You had your peace, quote unquote, I'm going to say, quote unquote, peaceful protester. Then you have your quote unquote violent protester, and then you have your this other set of protesters that I'm not quite sure who they are, right? But it's like they protect the police and property. Did you notice them?
Yeah, I mean, they showed a lot of clips of that. just like lines of people blocking off the stores or just pulling people back from, it was a lot of stopping people from doing vandalism or, looting or whatever the case is. You saw a lot of that. Yeah. Whereas, like, in past riots and shit like that, you don't see any of that. There's no stopping nothing. It's like, get out the way. You're not built for this, go home. You know what I'm saying? Where it was a lot of, right, like when I think of the, like, LA riots, you know what I'm saying? So, you were seeing shit, but I wasn't there, but, just seeing, like, the clips and shit like that later on in history, it was a lot of burning, looting, people getting their heads bust pretty much, you know what I'm saying, being out in that environment. And so, that was like kind of, it was kind of weird, like, seeing that, like who did they represent,
Exactly. What I noticed also is they would have their hands up. In a gesture of the Mike Brown, hands up, don't shoot.
Right.
They would have their hands up like that. So the first time I noticed it, I'm looking and I'm like, why every time the police move or get a little close, these certain people would always throw their hands up, right? Nobody else does this, right? But I would notice certain individuals in the crowd would do that. So I'm like, is that some code or some shit? You know what I'm saying? Then I would notice the same people that would throw their hands up are the same people that you would see jump in front of the stores to stop so-called looters from looting. They would jump in front of the police, between the police and the protesters. And I noticed that if the protesters wasn't going to leave an area and the police, set a curfew or, they made some type of negotiation for them to leave, that group would tell them, like, let's relocate and go to another block. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, well, why are we going to another block? Well, because there's no police over there, and it's like they'll negotiate, and I'm like, that's not a fucking protest. That's not a protest. Like, you don't protest one block, and then when it gets too thick, you go to another area where it's not thick. Like, it's not a fucking protest. Then the second thing another thing I noticed too is with these protesters, they wasn't really dressed for war. I saw a lot of girls in there with pom pom shorts on, and you know what I'm saying. Like,
he was talking about that with he was looking at a post of Megan Good, and you know what I'm saying. She just basically had some like tights on, like she just came from the gym. You know what I mean? Some type of relaxed wear like that.
I'm like, what kind of?
At it like you look cute, like you with the
like what type of dude? Like protect from tear gas? You think when they shoot a rubber, that's the Getty strap top is gonna be able to withstand? I saw one chick. She had a dress on, like a little mini skirt. And then when the police started to run, she bolted. I'm like, yeah, why would you reveal your boobs anyway? Why would you try to reveal any skin? You know what I'm saying? If I'm going there, I got Tim's, jeans, you know what I'm saying? Like, long sleeve shirt, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you ready for a long night. You ready for a long night. Basically, you don't know what's going to happen or occur out there.
See, what I noticed, I want to say one more thing. I noticed was every time when the police didn't get the orders to move in, then it was, no justice, no peace, Black Lives Matter, say their name. But then when the police got the order to move in, they bolted. Not even no resistance, bolted, right? So I was like, wow, this is interesting because, you think about the older protesters. But what I notice is with the older protests versus this protest, the older protests, I'm not going to say embraced the violence or embraced the looters, but they didn't denounce them. And in this case, I noticed the peaceful protesters wanted to make sure that they were deemed peaceful and was not tied in with the so-called violent or the looters. You know what I'm saying? And I thought that was funny because I'm like, the violence is what makes the people want to listen to what you have to say. If you're not going to, because again, like somebody said, I don't got a problem with the protesting, but I have a problem, like, don't be a criminal or some shit like that. Right? Yeah. They
got a problem with the looter.
They keep trying to make the looting the problem, but what they don't understand is even if you take the looters away, even if you take the agitators away, even if you take everything you want to deem negative away, the media would still deem the protesters violent. They would still deem them angry, mob. They got trigger words. When you're protesting and you're cutting off the traffic in the street, guess what? They're going to deem you an angry mob. That's still going to trigger cars wanting to plow through you. That's still going to trigger curfew. That's still going to trigger them using tear gas and all kind of shit like that. So regardless, the media is going to deem you violent and deem you a problem and label you negatively. So I just thought it was funny when I see the media kept saying, we don't have a problem with the peaceful protesters. We just have a problem with the violent. I'm like, since when? Since when? But before we get into that, we got a caller. Caller 44908.
Yeah, what up?
That was good.
I ain't nothing. I'm cool. I'm sitting there listening to y'all. I was going to comment on a few things, and then you start hitting all of them back to back to back to back, so you ain't leave much room for me to say nothing. I guess the only thing I can hit on is there is kind of a wink and a nod acknowledgement with some of those, like, people who are activists and protesters in that literal sense that you're talking about, like, that they know the only way you're getting anything when it comes to leverage is for the people that's out there tearing stuff up. But it's also interesting to hear them bring back the throwback phrase outside agitators. I said, damn, they brought that one back from the civil rights movement. Boy, this is funny. But, yeah, the way media is framing everything you've listed has been on point, man. So, we're going to see how this goes. But I'll go ahead.
Yeah, it's interesting just watching it because it's like, if you're young, then you're looking at it and you're thinking, like, wow, the people that are standing up. But if you've been through this and you're seasoned in this, you're like, wait a minute, there's some funny stuff going on in this protest. This is, and it's just like, like you said, I'm just to see how it all plays out at the end because it started funny, and so I know it's going to end funny at the end of the day. I've never seen the media support protesters. Indeed.
And I guess the other part, the wild card in this is the anarchists and, the little bit of Antifa people, even though the media is now turning Antifa into Al-Qaeda, and we got some people who believe it, scared of them and shit. It's like, dude, it ain't more than 20 of them in most cities. Like, that is not like some big organization. But the anarchists and people like that, these are older leftist white dudes with high student loans who feel like they ain't get a fair shake. Now, they're going to show up. They don't care about the cause or what happens to anybody. So that's going to be interesting.
I always tell people that. I'll be like, white people, this could have been about dogs. This could have been about like, it don't matter. They like tearing shit up. They don't care about the cause. They just like, wow, they're going against the government? Let's go there. Let's burn some shit up. Let's tear some shit. Around. We got more white allies. They don't care. They don't care. They don't give a damn. They don't want you in their neighborhood. They just enjoying
all day.
They can purge. You know what I'm saying? They can release and get all this aggression out, and it's under their rights, and they can do that shit. But we don't get it. I even seen a situation where, I think it was in New York, a black group was walking and a white group was walking, right? And I'm saying that because this is how the guy filming it basically described it. So on the black side, they're going, peaceful protest. And then on the white side, they're saying, do what you want. And I was just like, wow, that's funny because we're fighting to stay peaceful and shit, but the white side like, yo, do what you want to do. We burning this shit up. And that's it. And that's the two different conflicts right now because it's like, one, if you're going to make a stance and you have America attention at the time, why are y'all fighting each other right now? I'm seeing protesters fighting protesters. And the protesters I see fighting the protesters really are the ones that lift their hands up and protect the police in the buildings. I see them arguing with the so-called peaceful protesters. And I'm like, why are they arguing?
They think they're going to get a fair shake from the mainstream. They think they're going to get a fair shake from media. If we conduct ourselves well and show that we legally are protesting, they'll give us a fair shake. But as you just laid out, no, media is paid to do a certain function. And that function is going to be what? To criticize disorder. So they don't care how peacefully you do it, no matter what. But dude, the other thing I wanted to lay out, all of these cities are going to be in huge financial debt, not because of the riots, but because of coronavirus and all the money they had to borrow to keep themselves from functioning earlier in the year. So when they start looking at these police budgets, this is kind of something that's going to get interesting, man. Because when you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars in debt for cities and counties, it's going to be hard to justify some of these budgets, man. And, these cops are giving them the case to get rid of some of them just from the videos that they're seeing. Like that old man they dropped in New York. They fired them dudes and 35 people quit. They said, man, I quit. Y'all going to fire this man?
Wow. Yeah, in Buffalo.
Yeah, Buffalo. I just read that shit. Just read that shit. Yeah, wow. I didn't think about it the way you said it. Obviously, they're going to do a lot of cuts because of the budget, but I didn't think about them looking at it more so like, let's get some of these so-called bad apples out, because that would be an easier way to do the elimination while the other cops don't really realize, they cleaning house because they don't got the funding and shit to keep the police force.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a really interesting time, and we're in election time too. This is gonna be very, very interesting.
Very interesting. Klobuchar is up for VP with Biden. So she's trying to get that dude the electric chair up there in Minnesota to make sure she can still stay on that damn ticket, which is probably dead because black folks don't really like her like that. So, man, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, the ticket's dead already. Trump already going to get the situation. You can tell, I've been said it, but you could tell, like, in real time because they can't hold it in. They can't hold it in. A lot of people that really deep down, they agree, they fuck with Trump on some, I ride with this dude. They can't hold that in. And you've seen a lot of that shit coming out. And so when you count it and you look at the industry and you look at that type of person and that type of energy, you got to say to yourself, multiply that. Because that's showing you reality. If you see a regular, because they like to show you the hillbillies and be like, oh, that's Trump supporters right there, this person missing teeth and all kind of shit. Nah. Look at the politicians. Look at all the business owners. All the business owners. He won white males with the highest income last time. Now they tried to sweep that under the rug and act like it was just hillbillies, like you're saying. And then remember, they ain't got no problem shutting down polling places and doing what they got to do as far as winning locally, like we saw down here in Georgia. So, I fully agree with you that that's the most likely outcome. And then when you look at that Raggedy Dim situation, it's like if you're fighting a fascist, you need an actual leftist, you need an actual progressive, damn near black nationalist wing. You're not going to beat a fascist with a centrist. But the Dems, because the majority of them that are in the infrastructure, they want to keep their jobs, they determined to run centrist, and then after this is all over, they'll blame black folks and Bernie Sanders and crying their beer again. So,
But yeah, I'm gonna hang back and listen to y'all, man. It's good shit.
All right, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate the call too, brother.
All right.
Yep.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, and that's the type of stuff I like to highlight. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad the brother.
It's obvious. It's like people paying it. If you're paying attention, you're gonna be able to spot it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You can spot all the craziness going. Cause like before he called in, this is gonna basically say like it's like a lot like a control resistance. You know what I'm saying? It's like I was watching it and it's like, you know, I'm swearing I'm gonna wake up in the morning and you're gonna see, you know, it worsen or, you know, other things happening, and it's like, you know, during the daytime it falls back, you know, you see the so-called peaceful stuff, and then, you know, the nighttime comes, things happen, you hear the stories about it in the morning, but it's over. And you just see, you know, highlights and clips and shit. So it's like, you know, it just seemed like a lot big control. Not even, you know, wanting things to escalate, just viewing it like, all right, like you said something, it doesn't seem logical, really, like the things that are happening.
I'm telling you, it's wild crazy. And that's why I'm the type of person, and I hold the stance that I'm glad Trump is president, and he's the best thing that happened to black people. Why? Because ain't nothing hidden no more. Nothing hidden. You see what I'm saying? The sheets is pulled over your eyes, off your eyes, so you're not blind no more. The racist is the racist. These fake ass politicians and black leadership and all, they all fake. They don't give a damn.
Non-existent.
We're being, you know what I'm saying? The plan, like everything is not real. All this shit is not working for us, and it's not working for us. Ben wasn't working for us. You can tell that even these politicians don't even give a damn because they attach the all of our shit to, you want to know how to do this? Vote. You want to know how to stop this? Vote. And I'm like, y'all acting like this shit happened 4 years ago. We went through the same shit, right? Under Barack Obama, right? And just to be clear, this has nothing to do with Barack. This has nothing to do with Trump. I'm just talking parties. So this is a Democratic Party. When police and white people was killing black people, right? Under Democratic rule, this is what black people say. Why do we get mad when a white person or the police kill us, but we're not equally as mad when another black person kills us? Right or wrong, Smoke? Don't they say that? Now under Republican rule, you get killed by a white person or cop. Then it's the racist system. They're killing our black men. We must do something. Vote and get these Republicans out of office. And I'll just be like, yo, what the fuck? So when you're young, you think that, yo, they riding for us, they really for real, they got a plan. Just like I said, if you young, if you in your 20s and you say, yeah, these politicians, I'm only voting for the politician who got the better agenda for me, I'll just shake my head and be like, listen, let me break something down to you, because you're young. But if you're older and you're saying that a politician is supposed to have an agenda for you, then I would have to say, yo, re-scramble that thought. You have to have the agenda for the politician. You have to bring what you want to the table. Why? Okay, here's the reason why. Because when you keep on asking, right, and you keep on saying, yo, what are you going to do for us, Joe Biden? This is what Joe Biden going to say. We're going to donate to the HBCUs. We're going to do prison reform, and we're going to make prison nice again for black people, and we're going to make it easy for banks to lend, to predatorily lend you houses. Yeah, shit like that. And not just for you black people. It's for black, brown, yellow, pink, orange, gay, woman, white, everybody. for minorities and everybody, right? And we'll be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man, this shit. Yeah, we gotta change. We gotta change the shit. We have to present our shit. Yo, this is what we want, and this is what we want. This is what we want in the books. This is what we want. Legislation. This is the real shit that we want. We're not supposed to act.
Yeah. We gotta be organized.
I don't even think we're supposed to be. We gotta be organized because see, once you say organized, you start to think a large group of people.
Yeah, not necessarily that. It's just like just moving for what we know we need and being specific about it. You know what I'm saying? Like having specific goal, specific needs that we want to fulfill, and we present those to our leadership to get done instead of the generic prison reform. Well, what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? What does that even mean?
Direct count.
Donating to schools. What does that look like? What's the goal of it? What's going to happen?
Laptop.
You know what I mean? It's just like they just give us. We just get generic topics or generic things that they're going to present to us, but it never manifests into anything. But it could, it's like, all right, we gave $10 million to minorities. Well, what does black people get? What are our schools going to get? What our community is going to get from it? And then when you come back and double back, you say, well, we didn't get anything. We're like, well, it was done. We did what we said we were going to do. Was give to minorities. You guys wasn't aware of it. You guys didn't do this. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like we got to be specific. Because the funny thing right now with the Democrats is like, they got, they pushing Joe Biden, on us, to vote for or whatever. He's the same guy who signed the prison, the prison bill, whatever the name of it was.
Mm.
And then we're gonna sit back and ask him for prison reform. It's like, they look out here playing with us, out here with jokes. We don't ask for anything specific, and we just get these generic topics that they throw at us. It evokes our emotions and it makes it sound good, and then we vote. When the turnaround time comes, we don't get anything out of it, and then it's like rinse and repeat. And so, like right now, it's like, to me, I see like these protests and everything that's happening right now is all political shit to rile up our emotions to vote for Joe Biden, to get him in. It's like the last ditch effort to get Trump out of office, and it's sad because
that's literally what it is.
When you look at a lot of the cities that they was keying in on, New York City, Philadelphia, some other cities, the leadership in those cities at mayor is a Democratic Party. So they literally allowing shit to happen so that Trump could bring in the military forces, and that's going to be a bad look on him from the people. It's just all shit to try to get us to, especially
no.
To vote for
that's
Joe
a bad look on the people that looks through life through the eyes of the weak. You see what I'm saying? Because if you look at your eyes through the eyes of the life through the eyes of the strong, this is what black people have to start to do. Stop looking always at life through the eyes of you, right? Say to yourself also the flip side. The reason why I say that is to understand the mind frame of who you're dealing with. What I mean by that. I mean by this. So let's say now we're black people, so we're going to look at it the way we look at it. But again, now we're going to look at it through the eyes of the white man, right? The race of the white man, right? Snatched the land up, killed the Indians, enslaved the blacks, all that. So now, I said this before in the previous show, so I'm going to say it again. During the Obama administration, there was a lot of bragging. It might have been before the Obama administration. Could have been Bush, but it was a lot of bragging about the low white birth population and how America was tanning and getting brown and all kind of shit. And it's like, did you not think white people was going to be like, hey, we got to do something? Like, did you think they was cheering their demise on? No. They're in the background trying to fix their own shit, their own lineage and legacy. So now you got somebody like Trump who's now sitting over here like, yo, you know what? I got to give these opportunities back to Americans. Now, I can't say white people or white Americans. That's not how the system works. But I'm going to do what I got to do to empower my people. That's what he's doing. I'm not worried about that. My concern is, if this is what's happening on that side, what is our counter part on our side? It can't be, oh, we're going to protest and we're going to march. No. That's not the count. What's happening now, protesting and marching, that's happening right now, this is for police reform. Hopefully it materializes into legislation on some type of police reform. That have nothing to do with the advancement and the betterment of black people. They have nothing to do with equality in America. They have nothing to do with shit. They have everything to do with one thing: police reform. That's it. So then I say to myself, if white people is in the background building themselves up, because they do look at the numbers and say to themselves, we have a zero birth rate. They do look at the numbers and say, damn, there are a lot of foreigners here. Blase, blah, we know the whole story. What do? They say, close the borders. Close the borders. We're not letting nobody else inside here unless they're from white European countries. You see what I'm saying? We're looking at it on the side of the black people smoke, so we're like, oh, that's racist. Oh, that's this, that's... No. Look at it on their side. They're trying to survive. So if they're trying to survive, you're not supposed to look at white people and say, oh, what they're doing is racist. No, that's survival. So then you got to look at your side, and say, hey, guys, are we surviving? Are we building ourselves up? Are we prepared for when the white people build themselves back up? Are we prepared to deal with that aggression again? Oh, no? You want to play people of color and minorities? You want to help the brown and the Chinese and everybody else, and the gays and the lesbians and everybody else? Want to build yourself up, black people? Okay. And when the white man come up, you're going to smash your ass again. We can call it racism. Yeah. We can call it not being prepared. Go ahead.
No, my only thought to that is pretty much our stress negates that racism shit and negates all that. So the more we can provide jobs to ourselves, the less we can say that, we're not getting a job because the white man don't like our hair or, whatever other reason. You know what I'm saying? So if we provide it for our community, we don't have to say they're not giving us nothing. We don't got to worry about that. That's not.
But you know what they say, Smoke? They said we got to teach white people. We have to teach white people because they don't know. White people don't know about racism and how black people is treated. They're unaware. They're just oblivious, right? And here go these stupid black people. Because these are the millennials, obviously. So this are these stupid black people. Oh, no, we have to teach them because you got to understand. White people... Yo, let me tell you something, yo. If
what happened to you gonna learn today? What happened to you gonna learn today?
Well, exactly. No, that's what we tell that people.
You're gonna learn.
We reserve each other. But this is the shit that kills me, though.
So exactly.
We're gonna teach the white people about racism and how black people treated and mistreated in this country, because we allowed these people, ancestors of the people that enslaved our ancestors, these people who passed laws after generation oppressing black people. So we're not talking hundreds of years. We're talking granddaddy. We're talking about daddy. We're going to allow these people to tell us they are so, I have no idea how this thing called racism is. I have no idea what discrimination is. I did not know black people go through this. This is what they try to explain to us, Smoke. So this is what I'm going to read this story real quick, right? I'm going to read this story from this black man, right?
Gotcha.
This black man, okay? This black man that lives in the UK, right? I'm not going to say the black man's name, right? Because I don't want to disrespect the black man yet. So he goes, this black man says, racism is still acceptable in Britain. Right? I took another word out. Right? So it says, this man has said he suffered racism in the UK due to being well, they got an ER at the end. I'll say that. And that discrimination has led him to being barred from entering places, public places. And this is now, right? 2020. So this is a heavyweight boxer, right? And he's talking to Good Morning America. I mean, Good Morning Britain, right, on Wednesday. And he says he commented on the death of George Floyd, right, an African American who died of asphyxia in police custody, and the subsequent nationwide protests in the U.S. Right? He said, "I am."
All
right, let me just go ahead and say it. I am a white man, but I still suffers racism in 2020. Who is this white man I'm talking about, Smoke? Tyson Fury. Right? Tyson Fury. Now let's take up one point. We're supposed to teach white people about racism because they don't know about racism. They don't know about discrimination. They don't know how they treat black. They don't know none of this shit. So we got to teach them this shit.
Right.
Tyson Fury said racism against travelers. That's the ER at the end. Travelers is still acceptable in Britain. Tyson Fury said he still suffers racism in the UK due to being a traveler. A traveler is the gypsy. You see what I'm saying? So he said, I'm a white man, but I suffer racism in 2020 as a white person because I'm a traveler. I come from an ethnic background, gypsy. So he says that he done went to the establishments in the UK, like bars and restaurants and shit like that, and they got signs that said no travelers allowed. And then they say, I think travelers are the most acceptable form of racism in Britain and in the world at the moment. It's still acceptable to be racist against travelers. Nothing even gets done about it, right? So the reason why I bring that up is this, right? So then he's going to say the boxer also claimed to have been refused entry to restaurants, bars in 2016 alongside his wife because it had a sign saying no gypsies allowed, right? So then it goes on and on. The reason why I bring that up is this, right? White people will find any reason to discriminate against somebody, even themselves. They will discriminate against you, like Tyson Fury said, because you're a gypsy. They'll discriminate against you because you got red hair. They'll call you a ginger and kick your ass just because you was born with red fucking hair. You know what I'm saying? These people are psychotic. You know what I'm saying? They will fucking separate women by the hair, a blonde, a brunette. You know what I'm saying? And shit like that. Like, that's in their nature. So for you to sit there and think, oh, the reason why white people ignore racism and stuff is because they just don't get it. They just don't get it. It just goes over their heads. They just don't understand what it's like. Because you know how they say, Smoke, I'm not black, so I could never know how it feels to be black in America and all kind of shit like that and deal with the injustices. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Because I don't have to get beat up every day, right? To know it's fucked up to see this kid getting beat up every day. You know what I'm saying? I don't got to sit, like, you see it. What are you talking about? You don't see it. You hear your friends say, what are you talking about? You know what's going on. You see what's going on.
They're basically saying it don't affect them like that. So
It don't affect
it is
because
what it is.
perfect words right there. It don't affect them. It is what it is. And now that they're caught out by it, you know what I'm saying? That's like us chilling and shit, and motherfuckers call out and be like, damn, just have people sitting on the car and all kind of shit, and
Right.
you're like, damn, yo, I don't know what about. You know what I'm saying? Now you want to try to clean your name up because you don't want to be part of the yelling and shit. So that lets you know. And when I see shit like that, and like I said again, just to go back to the Trump shit, that's why I have no issue with Trump being president. Why? Because none of this shit is hidden. The people out there, Drew Brees and all kind of shit, have to come out and say shit. He decided to come out. Nobody forced him to come out, right? He was in an interview.
Interview.
He was in an interview?
Yeah, Drew Brees, yeah. You talking about when he made the first initial comments? That was an interview.
No, I'm talking about yeah, that was an interview?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, they took a clip for you to say it pretty much. You know what I'm saying? They was asking him about, I ain't see the actual thing, but it was like they was asking him about like kneeling during the flag or some shit like that. You know what I mean? They was talking like that part of it, and he was saying that he wouldn't, like he don't see that appropriate. Basically, is what he was saying. And they took it and made it to, everybody have an agenda is what I noticed. So it's like even with the, you mentioned the Tyson Fury story. It's like something happened to us, and then everyone else with their agendas come out to capitalize off of what happened to us, and then we don't capitalize. There's nothing that really we get out of it, except for all the negative shit that came with
all the negative
protesting, rioting, looting, anything that came with it. Even if you're just standing out there peacefully, your ass might end up getting a charge somewhere down the line. You never know. But we the ones who never benefit off of this shit. It's like, blacks out there, they angry, they gonna protest. Now all these groups come out, Antifa come out, this person come out, the whites over here, just the people that just tired of being in the damn house, dealing with coronavirus shit. All the groups come out. They end up getting a benefit or something out of it, or just blowing off the steam, and then we left with the pieces. You know what I'm saying? So it's like funny that I don't know when that story was from with Tyson Fury, but that's generally how this shit happened in America. Everybody else gonna start talking about like who gives a fuck about you not getting in the damn bar? Like who cares? You know what I'm saying? It's just like that's just basically what it is. Like everyone said, we get this too. The gays they talking. It's like everybody else come with their agenda, with with what they want to accomplish. They hijack it, and I've seen that. I've seen a lot of that.
So you got the hijack. So they want to.
He need to wash them damn gloves. They said his gloves loaded. His picture.
You know what I'm saying?
Fucking Tyson Fury. Get your ass out of here.
Damn boxing and shit. No gypsies in the boxing. Yeah, but they had a situation down in Chicago though. Speaking of groups, you know what I'm saying, jumping in. So you got the groups jumping in, pushing their own little agendas and shit. Then you have situations also going on with the Latinos now wanting to attack blacks. You see what I'm saying? And again,
New York has some shit going on too.
Before we continue, let me say again, that's why I'm glad Trump is president. Because let's go ahead and chisel away this whole black and brown bullshit. Let's go ahead and just chisel that shit away. And this is the new hustle they do, Smoke. When you say we don't do that black brown bullshit, this is what they do. There's black Latinos too. There's black Latinos too. Guess what? If you're a black Latino, I mean you're on the black side. If I have to tell you, if you a black Latino, right, and you sitting over here and we fucking We trying to rebuild the fucking race and shit like that. We fighting against aggression and shit from other outside forces and shit. And then you sitting over here like, I want to join your group, but I don't know if you're going to like me because I'm Hispanic. That means you ain't black. Get out of here. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? No. There's no way the whole black and brown bullshit, because we already see that Latinos have a very vicious racial issue, and they love trying to attack blacks when they have the numbers. Not with them cowards.
Oh, no.
You know what I'm saying? But when they have the numbers, oh, they love terrorizing black people. Another group attack black people is who? The Chinese, right? That's another group. They're caught up in the group called the minority. So, again, chisel away that minority bullshit. Because you know who else is part of the minority group, Smoke? White woman. We already know what Karen been up to lately. So, it don't make no sense for us to sit around over here and play with this minority game either. So,
all shit our leadership told us to do.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I said, with Trump being president, guess what? You ain't got no choice but to stand on your blackness. Figure out what to do to build your shit up. That's it. When we get Democrats in power, we don't want
everyone's showing who they are. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's the thing. If we watching all the groups, is showing who the hell they are. You know what I'm saying? It's up to us to identify that shit and really stand on it. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, when you talk about the Latino shit, that's always been known. Especially when you talk like West Coast shit, like California, and how segregated that shit is when it comes to black and Latino neighborhoods. You know, we been from New York is like, not that.
I'm about to say not even LA. Ask them in their own country. in their own family. We're fucking with black.
I ain't even go there.
In their own family. Yeah, so it's like, come on, man. If they do that shit in their own family, how you think they gonna do that shit in a neighborhood? Yeah. Disgusting. So another had a story.
What is this?
So another had a story. Nah, it was a couple of years ago. He had like one of his relatives. It was a female, and she was like, cause I guess he's like Dominican or some shit too. So on the Dominican side. Yeah, how she was like, she was on the bus, and how a Dominican woman, dark skin, was with I guess her niece or granddaughter or whatever like that, and how I guess she was a little fairer skin, and how she kept on just telling the granddaughter, yeah, look at her dirty skin, so nasty, so ugly, and like this and black, not knowing that she Dominican and she speak that Spanish shit too. So, when the bus got off, she said she had got up and was, cursed her out or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, yeah, that's in their own culture. Like, and that's my whole point. When your culture is anti-black, when your culture is to destroy black people, when your culture is about the destruction, the hatred of black people, you can't be in this, and you can't explain to somebody why it's wrong. You understand what I'm saying? We're talking culture now. We're talking something innate. We're not talking about taught shit. You know what I'm saying? We're not doing that. We're talking innate. We're talking about people that is saying, give me the rules to what it is not to be racist so I can follow it and tell you that I'm not racist and here's why. That's literally what white people do to us now. If you're like, you racist motherfucker, I'm not racist. I voted for Obama twice. I have 2 black grandchildren. Right, I cheated on my country with some Mexicans. You know what I'm saying? And you be like,
fuck out of
they'll give you a list to show you that this qualifies me that I'm not racist. Like, come on, like this is the game they play with black. Why? Because you're part of their economy, and you don't want to build your own and stand on your own. So now, when the police now, because here's the police game, Smoke, and I said it on the last show. The only time that I can remember in America, in my years, from Reagan to to now, that black people had it pretty easy and nice and cool in America, where there wasn't no real aggression and racism type shit, was 9/11. And not on the day of 9/11. Come on, in the years from 2001 to about maybe 2006, 7, some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But it was pretty cool in America. Why? Because America sent all its thugs overseas to fight Arabs. And you seen what its thugs did. Had more naked in a pyramid and touching each other's dicks and keeping them. You know what I'm saying? All these war crimes and waterboarding.
Desecrating the bodies and shit.
Yeah, all kind of shit. And guess what happened? All them thugs came back home. And then
They joined the police force.
They joined the police force. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's going on and shit. And the sad part about it, what they should talk about also, is a lot of them police, when they can't deal, like when they get a lot of recommendations or whatever for fucking up, putting them inside being school officers. And then that's when you end up seeing these officers slamming snuffing guys and all kinds of, it's like, where the fuck are these? Why? Because those cops who do that in the schools were cops who did that in the street. We don't even get that shit, y'all. We don't even get. We're about to live in the police. We've been living in a fucking police country, a militarized country.
Oh yeah.
Especially, well,
oh yeah, it's been like that. It's crazy.
You already know. So it's like, you know, it's bugged out, but it's like the only way for us black people to survive in this country, we have to rebuild our economy. We have to teach our children race first. We have to. Here's an example, Smoke. At the protest, right? So this brother, he talking, right? So he's like, you know, it's good that white people is out here and all that stuff, and no disrespect to y'all, nothing. You know, it's good that y'all out here, but we don't need y'all non-black people. We need black people to really we need each other, and we need to build each other up and depend on us, and not have to always depend on white people. Yo, why this black chick rolled her eyes, sucked her teeth, right? And said, I love my non-black people. I don't know what you think. Then the black dude next to him, he says, I'm from Atlanta. Because they was in Houston. That's where they was at, for the Houston one. When my son and them was there.
Bombay and all. Bombay.
Yeah. So he says, I'm from Atlanta. And I just want you to know, he's telling this to all the non-black people. That's one black man's opinion. That he don't speak for all of us. What the fuck am I watching?
Oh, man.
And you
that's wild.
arguing with each other, yo. Arguing for the love and affection of white people. And that's when I said, yo, who are these people, yo? Who is this other group of people? Like, everybody talking about the Antifa and all that. I'm not worried about those groups. I'm trying to figure out who is the group that is protecting the police. Yo, let me tell you how much they protect the police, Monk. So in one state, I don't know, maybe Washington or something, right? The crowd, they're throwing water bottles, right? And all of a sudden, you start to see these people come out of nowhere because they're not in a group. You understand what I'm saying? They're spread out.
Right.
And like little small groups spread out. Then they walk towards the post. They got their hands up, right? Then they turn their backs to the post, and they got like the cardboard papers with the with the signs or whatever for the protest. They're holding that sign up to protect the police from the water bottles. And I'm like, what the fuck? So then I seen another one where the protesters was they yelling and shit, and then a group of white people, white women or whatever, they just scurry through the crowd and shit, and all formed a line between the police and the protesters, and lock arms or whatever. And you know what the news called that? This is what the news called it. They said, and those protesters stood between the police and the protesters, and they're called the White Angels. I said the White Angels. What the fuck am I watching? What? Yo, I ain't never seen nothing like this, yo. I'm used to seeing protesters clashing with police. I'm not used to seeing protesters running away from police. I'm not used to seeing that. I'm not used to seeing the saying, "Oh, we love this protest," and the police, "I support the protesters. I have no problem with the protest. I believe in what they're standing for." How the fuck are you a police chief saying you believe in what the protest is standing for, but your department got fucking misdemeanors and you know what I'm saying? Like, not misdemeanors, but offenses. You know what I'm saying? Come on. Like, this is the most funniest protest I've ever seen in my fucking life, yo. And then everybody from Trina. And these loaders, and they need to, all of y'all showing y'all true.
Animals.
Don't even realize it. It's like you left your phone on and you talking that real shit. Real shit. You know what I'm saying? You left your phone on. I got a story about that too.
You still got the Latino story?
Yeah, I got that Latino shit. Yeah, let me bust the shit down. That's very important. No. So the story goes, black children harassed in some Latino neighborhoods. So they go, all right, so they say Latino leaders are calling for unity after black Chicagoans have been harassed and had bricks thrown at their cars in some Latino neighborhoods. On Sunday afternoon, Little Village neighborhood came together to protect 26th Street businesses after people looted shops. Alderman Michael Rodriguez. You hear that? Michael Rodriguez. You think that's a black man? You see what I'm saying? And look how they label this, smoke. Little Village Neighbors. You see what I'm saying? Now, I want black people to understand. Now, read the story. Understand that we have no friends, and black people need to stick together to rebuild ourselves up so we're not dependent on other races and we can stand on our own and compete. And we're not begging.
We ain't victims. We ain't victims either.
Victims and weak. But then on the other side, when I read this story, I'm not reading this story from the side of the weak either. I'm going to highlight a lot of shit about these Latinos that's going to explain how they're able to do that and you're not. So they go, on Sunday afternoon, Little Village neighbors came together to protect 26th Street businesses after people looted shops. Alderman Michael Rodriguez said as the night went on, a few Latino men became quote unquote antagonistic. That's what they called it, antagonistic, and were indiscriminately targeting black people driving through the neighborhood. A few Latino men became antagonistic. They would have called us thugs and all kind of shit, but this is called antagonistic. In a video posted on Facebook, 4 black women and a child driving through Little Village near Kinsey Ave and Cermak Road Sunday had their cars hit 3 times with bats as men stood in the street. A car was burning in the background. So, woman, all of y'all, I don't need a man. These black men ain't shit. Listen, all of that shit is a ploy to get you by yourself. That's all that is. To take away your protection. It's like they disarm you by taking away your black man and build you up to make you feel like you can walk these streets alone. So you driving in this situation, a black woman, 4 black women. 4! Okay? 4 black women. This is so y'all think, I bet I told y'all were protected, right? We 4 deep. And a child driving through. And these damn Latinos just bust up your car and all kind of shit like that. You see what I'm saying? So, in another video posted to Twitter, Latino men stood at the corner of Kinsey and Cermak, some with baseball bats, throwing items at cars as they drove by. Those items include bricks, Rodriguez said. A car was burning and other cars attempted to dodge items launched in their direction. So these guys tried to come rob around the area, a woman said in the video, right? On Monday, so that's a Latino woman. On Monday evening, Rodriguez said he witnessed a young black couple driving on Kinsey go through a gauntlet. A gauntlet. They would have called that shit a mob if they were black. You dig that shit, Smoke? They using some pretty words, yo, in this story. They said Rodriguez said he himself witnessed a young black couple drive through Kinsey, driving on Kinsey, go through a gauntlet with people throwing things at their car. The black couple were in Little Village to patronize a local business. The black couple was in this Latino neighborhood to patronize some fucking Latino store, right? Now, let me take a little break right there so I can flip it. 1, this black couple drove to this Latino neighborhood, right? So they can spend money in their economy. And this is the greeting that they got, right? That's the greeting that they got, patronizing their business, right? Now, here's the second part, Smoke. The second part is this. They're showing you that majority of people over here are business owners. You have the alderman is there. You have this story being written up about them, and no inflammatory term is being said. A gauntlet? No, this shit was Yeah, good question. The author is... oh, okay, wow. Okay, yeah, I should have read that shit first. So it said... It's like a blog post, maybe. Mauricio Pena. Yeah, it's a Spanish name. Then it says... He's a reporter for the Little Village and West Loop Reporter. So he writes their fucking community paper.
Because I was trying to find that actual article to read along, but I'm reading one from the Chicago Tribune. I mean, it's pretty much saying the same shit, but it's making them same little,
quote unquote.
Yeah, like they not, instead of stalking his profile, and you know what I mean, it's just making it change up. When you look at the person who wrote it is, a Hispanic person. This one was written by Laura Rodriguez Presa. You know what I'm saying? And she pretty much it's like the same type of verbiage. You know what I'm saying? Keeping the peace. You know what I'm saying? Fear violence. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. Like, whereas we've heard our stories. This shit would definitely be like some old lynching shit or mob shit.
Exactly. But what happened is, again, the Latino is looking at it like this. If we let the whites run the story, they might sway the black side. It is political season. So what happened?
Right.
They jump out and take the narrative, and they write the story of what happened, and they are the ones that interpret what their people were doing. Where black people don't have fucking media, so we have to allow somebody else to interpret what happened. Then if they don't do it right, then we have to yell, bitch, and moan and shit and complain to try to get something done. And this is the point I always make, and I will always make on this show. No economy, you have no power. The end. This shit is going to happen continuously. Everybody else have an economy except us. And you're going to see how this economy shit works. So they go, it was terrible. They looked so frightened. According to leaders in the area, some of the Latino men guarding Little Village are members of the Latin King Street Gang. In suburban serial video Monday showed dozens of people looting the El Patron liquor store. One man believed to be looting the store was caught by police with a gun. 2 bystanders were shot and killed in another incident at 40th Ave and Cermak Road. They said non-black Latinx gangs are armed with bats, machetes, said Luis Chavez, who shot the video. Any car that passed by with black people in it, they are yelling at it and throwing shit. Chavez, founder of online magazine Gozamos, urged black people to stay out of Cerro. About 4 minutes into the video, gunfire goes off. It's unclear who shot it. Yeah, so that's how that shit goes. So we talking about you in the neighborhood now, you talking all this fucking black and brown bullshit, but when shit pop off, they coming for you first. And they supposed to be on your side? Nah, yo. Again, where is our protection? We don't got protection. Why? Because we're not. They race first.
After we lobby for Latinos, you know what I'm saying? It's like, when all of them was protesting and, complaining about what the things that was happening with Trump and the border and shit, who was them? Yep. Who was with them? You understand? So, like, you don't see that unity, because if anything, things happen, we out there marching, protesting, whatever. They supposed to be there front. It ain't supposed to be we supposed to be safe in they communities, because we pledged ourselves as allies to them. Like, yo, we rocking with y'all. When it's the other shoe on the other foot, it's different. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, at a time of need, this the heat we get. So we don't got heat just from police. White people. You see the Chinese cop, he was right there standing over. You see what I'm saying? You see the Latinos, they running us and throwing bricks at women and doing shit like that to us. You know what I'm saying? Not just in Chicago. Not just in Chicago. So it's like we already got people that we done seen as or declared as enemies, but we forgetting about some. We forgetting about a lot of them, and they exposing themselves. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's happening right now. We just need to sit back, pay attention to what is happening, and just write that list down. You know what I'm saying? Take that list down, and we just got to remember this shit and move with just one thought process in mind, and that's black. Everybody else is everybody else.
Exactly. Look, this is how much they give a fuck, Smoke. They goes, This is a Democratic, senior Democrat right here. This is the title. Senior Democrat caught on hot mic at protest saying, "If I didn't have a primary, I wouldn't care." So he says, U.S. Congressman Elliot Engel of New York has been criticized following a hot mic gaffe at a press conference discussing the George Floyd protest. Mr. Engel, who asked the event organizers if he could speak during the conference, appeared to say, "If I didn't have a primary, I wouldn't care." Footage posted by News 12 The Bronx shows Mr. Engel asking for the mic, but being denied by Borough President Ruben Diaz. Mr. Diaz said he was reluctant because to hand over the mic because he was afraid everyone else gathered at the conference would want a chance to speak. That's when Mr. Engel made his comment, which prompted Mr. Diaz to reply, "Don't do that to me." Mr. Engel, who chairs the House Foreign Affairs Committee and is a 16-term congressman, clarified his statement after the fact, explaining that he cared deeply about what happened in the country and that his comment was not reflective of his overall feelings about George Floyd protests, but was meant to explain why he was pushing so hard for a chance to speak. So, and I'm like, if you pushing for, why would you say, if I wasn't running for primary, I wouldn't care if you was just saying that you were just trying to talk. I'm just trying to get my my voice out. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck out of here, man.
Yeah, so this shit is not just the people. It's just not Latino. So it goes back to you was explaining the story of an adult telling the kid this story. You know what I'm saying? So the story of the woman's skin being black and dirty and all that stuff. So basically, their leadership feel the same way. The people at the top. It's not just the people. It's a reason that It's just like it's a reason why our community is in disarray. It's a reason why those people have issues with us. Why they don't care? Because they leadership say there's no reason to care. Fuck that. That's coming right from a leader. So this is it. This is from every angle. It's like we have to be serious and understanding that it's us. It ain't them. It ain't who we can add on. We just the battery pack for them. That's how they basically look at us. Like we need a political agenda to be fulfilled. Let's go get the batteries. Hey, black people, come on. We need batteries. You see what I'm saying? It's like everyone's doing that shit to us, and we cool with it. So now we should be able to see this shit. It's happening in real time.
Yep.
We got to operate differently.
I'm going to let you know right now. You got 4 more years of this, black people. You got 4 more years of this, black people. No way in hell you going to believe no damn Biden is going to win. Okay? They literally pull Biden out like he's a puppet. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. They just found out
Joe.
Huh? You said what?
Like, we need you, Joe. We need you right now. Come on out.
Yeah, he'd be like, okay, here we go. What do you mean to say? You know what I'm saying?
I'll give him my best.
This dude here, yeah. But you know what? I know you into that sports shit, but I'm going to ask you a question about this. Did you hear about the guy, Mikey Williams?
Mikey who?
Williams, a basketball player. He's in high school.
Oh, he going to like the G League, I want to say, or some shit like that. Okay, he was considering that. Okay, yeah, I did see that.
Yeah.
I did see that. I don't know much about him, but as far as a basketball player, but I just saw him like he had posted. It was something he posted, and he pretty much like, well, shit, just pretty much floating the idea of going to HBCU instead of the college, because it's like a 1-year rule requirement for the NBA. Like you gotta be 1 year out of high school. So pretty much the kids is like, college, that's the route. That's pretty much the setup they got for it. But they have another player who he went to the G League. Like, he's going straight to the NBA G League and getting paid instead of going to college. So now it's kind of like changing up the landscape because the NCAA for a long time they don't pay athletes basically, especially in the black sports. You can't get endorsements. You can't have like certain jobs. You basically not getting paid. You just there for the school or whatever. And so like recently they had a ruling where the NCAA they're gonna start trying to pay the athletes or whatever. But now the athletes are like, well, shit, if that's the case, we can go and get, bigger money. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't know much about the kid and stuff, like his school or anything like that, but, I don't even know if he would do it. But I did see that. So.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting and stuff because that's something that that idea was floating around since the 90s.
Right.
I remember that since the 90s, and it was like, why? Yes. Why? It was like, why? Are we sending our children to these white schools, getting all that money funneled there, while our schools, you know what I'm saying, gets shit?
Yeah, you're just not controlling it.
Yeah, and that's a good example too when it comes to economy again. Yeah. We don't control shit. It could work.
Like, I'm sitting here thinking about it because, like, when you look at the biggest thing of somebody going to, like, a major school versus, like, an HBCU is, like, the funding, the money that goes through the school, you know what I'm saying? They probably already be backdoor paying them, you know what I'm saying, things like that, and then the access to different things like, school facilities, good trainers, health department, you know what I'm saying, all that stuff that's surrounded by sports. But, like, people get to see you more. And that's really the biggest thing, like, if you want to go to the next level. But if we control that area, we can inject money into it to where it makes sense. Where you can have, all these schools got a gym. It's not like they play outside. So you can come and get these shit televised in these smaller schools, and it'll be like a market that is really untapped. You know what I mean? And, like, you getting these high-profile high school players to come in, that's going to bring in, like, people to, like these sports networks to watch it. And if they taking the cap off monetizing kids, that'll be the incentive. It's like, all right, we're gonna give you this bread, and then it's another back end business model that black people is making money off of in the black schools and shit. You could be having people that graduate the school coming in and working jobs and things like that. So it definitely can work and shit. Just you gotta inject the money into it, and like, that's really the thing. So it's opportunity there for it.
And guess what? If we had an economy, had a damn economy, and it goes back to that again. Because remember, we don't need factories to make these great athletes. The factories is our body. You see what I'm saying? So they have to. It comes through us. We don't even have control over that. You see what I'm saying? That's supposed to be a host like when you go down south. The South is known to produce great football players. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So guess what?
The basketball player who went from high school to the G League, his name is Jalen Green. He's from California and shit. So he's supposed to there's like an initiative that's saying that he could get up to like 500,000 plus, and then like it'll be like a developmental program. So it's like pretty much it's like the NBA trying to set up. They basically like, if this shit really start to work, they're gonna X out the NCAA. That whole platform with the NCAA is gonna have to change. You know what I'm saying? Those elite, at least for the elite players. The elite players gonna go straight in and start making their money, which I don't got a problem with. Yeah. His name was Jalen Green. You could just got that.
Yeah, I see. I see another situation to go back to the whole Trump and America, where we at right now in the climate. Again, there's nothing to be afraid of, black people. I mean, there's nothing that's happening that we didn't go through in the past, in the present. So there's really nothing to be afraid of. But the thing is, with no economy inside of a capitalistic society, we're not protected. So that's why we're easy prey. Our so-called leaders know this, but they rather get paid exploiting our misfortunes. So here's a situation going on. Yeah, here's a quick little story right here. This is from Yahoo Finance. The title: The risk for Biden is, if he picks a black running mate. Democrat Joe Biden has pledged to pick a woman as his running mate, and the moment seemed right to choose a black woman. With racial tensions flaring nationwide after the killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis, that might hearten black voters and boost turnout of this important voting bloc, which would help Biden overall. But it could also cost Biden some support among white working class voters he hoping to lure away from President Trump, making it a tricky decision forcing Biden to prioritize which group of voters he needs most. The question... What, you want me to stop right there?
Oh, no, I'm just like... there you go.
Right?
Yeah.
The question the campaign is going to have to wrestle with is which block of voters is going to deliver them to the White House. Ted Johnson, a scholar on race and politics at the Brennan Center, says on the last episode of the Yahoo Finance whatever. Is it going to be winning those white working class voters in the Rust Belt back into the Democratic camp? Or is it going to be increasing black turnout from where it was in 2016? Democrat Hillary Clinton won 89% of the black vote in 2016, and Republican Trump won just 8%. But black turnout was 8 points lower in 2016 than it was in 2012, when Barack Obama ran for re-election. Had blacks voted in the same number in 2016 and Clinton won in 2016, and Clinton won 89% of them, additional votes in urban centers such as Philadelphia, Detroit, and Milwaukee probably would have flipped at least 3 swing states in Clinton's favor and sent her to the White House rather than Trump. Which is fucking hilarious.
It's our fault, black people. It's our fault.
You know what I'm saying? It's so funny. You know what I'm saying? The most hilarious shit.
The people that didn't vote for them.
Right. They don't worry about nobody else being vote, but they don't say if Hillary would have offered more or agreed with the agendas of the black community, if Hillary and the Democratic Party would have donated more funding and help with economic powers and protection of the black vote, then maybe the voters would have came out in large numbers and Hillary could have became president. They don't say that.
The Democratic Party wasn't so damn weak and it was so much infighting.
Right, they don't say that.
Get the fuck out of here.
Look, if the Democratic Party would have said something about police shooting unarmed black people, Because remember, that's how the Fannie Lou coalition happened. Because of the silence of the Democratic Party with black people. Y'all young black people who probably is shocked to hear this. But black people was getting killed by police during Barack Obama's administration too.
Yeah, all facts.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Non-stop.
It didn't just start with Trump, right? So when that happened, the Democrats was quiet. They didn't say shit. Because remember, when Barack Obama said, if I had this weak-ass statement, if I had a son, a child gets murdered, a black child gets murdered in America, and Barack Obama's comment is, if I had a child, my child looked like Trayvon. What the fuck is he talking about?
Oh, really?
So, no legislation, no nothing. Now, here's a good thing about Trump. Trump is letting you know what can and can't be done. You see what I'm saying? So, all throughout Barack's presidency, all we heard was what he couldn't do. What he couldn't. While he was doing whatever he wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? He was pushing shit without Congress playing. He was pushing shit. He could have pushed police reform. Remember, his homeboy Gates, Henry Louis Gates, some shit. Got accosted by the police. You know what I'm saying? So
at his own lab.
Yeah. So it's like, so all this shit going on under Democratic control. They had control of the House, the Senate, and the presidency. We getting our heads blown the fuck off, getting gunned the fuck down by police and shit like that. And what happened? So now that we're getting gunned down under Republican rule, now they want to try to make it like, oh, if black people would have just came out to vote, Hillary would have been our president. And what? We would have still been getting gunned down. Y'all still would have been telling us y'all can't do shit. And then the black people like the Trinas and everybody else would have been all on IG saying, why do we get mad when white people kill us and police kill us? Why are we equally mad with black on black crime? Why we don't get equally mad? It's like we okay when blacks kill blacks. And I'm like, what? The fuck is you talking about? That's what they said with the Trayvon Martin shit. That's what they said with the Mike Brown shit. That's what they said with cases prior to that I don't remember the names. So that's why I always say when Republicans is in power, black people get militant. Point. We know what time it is. We recognize that we black. You hear that, folks? We recognize that we black. You start to hear these fucking mulattoes coming out talking about, I recognize that even though I can't think of the woman's name, right? I should have took this story, but I didn't really care about it that much. But she looks like a white woman. But I recognize that I am a passing white woman, and because the mother's black or some shit, and the father's white, and it's like, and I benefit off the fact that I can pass for white, and that's why I've never commented on black issues, because I felt funny saying we and all kind of shit, but I'm proud of my black heritage.
Right.
Yo, this shit is hilarious because it's forcing you now. It's forcing you. Even who you're white. I don't play that game. I don't play that one drop game. I don't play that. If you mix and you end up dealing with and marrying and shit like that, the other side that's not black, that's the side who I say you is. Like to make Listen, I don't care how black, right? If your mother black and your father Chinese, right? And the baby still dark skinned, right? And that baby decides to deal with a Chinese person, I'm saying that's a Chinese child. It's a Chinese kid. I ain't no black child. That's Chinese because technically the baby's half. So what half you sliding on? You on the side with the Chinese side. So if you black and you white, and then you sit over here now like Meghan Markle and everybody she's dealing with and marrying is white, and then she have a baby with the Harry dude, then it's like, all right, that's a white woman. No, it's not. She's still that's where she is that? Is it because her mother black? She's telling you who she is. See, but we like to guilt people to be black. There's nothing wrong with being black. You don't need to guilt nobody.
Or being on our side or speaking for us and shit like that. Like, that shit was sad, like, seeing that shit. All my white friends that Tyler is complicit. All my white, like, like, I got you, but fuck all that. Who cares if you speaking? Like, you speak. We begging.
I'm about to say some ill shit. We need to destroy white supremacy, right? That's their argument, right? So they want to destroy white supremacy. That's the argument. We need white people. We need their privilege. We need their voice. We need them as allies to help us destroy it. So that makes them supreme.
Yeah, you need white supremacy. We're trying to destroy white supremacy by requesting the help of white supremacy. Like, come on, y'all. We need some of y'all to come over here to fuck this shit up. We need some of y'all to be white cool.
we want some
turn on your race now. Come help us. All right, cool. That's gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Guilting people in here, like when they were showing the Drew Brees, you know, the statement he made or whatever. Now they got Drew Brees apologizing, which is cool, you know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Fuck it. He stepped out of line, apologized. But they showing grown ass men. They had one, I think Michael Jenkins, he on there. Niggas crying because Drew Brees said, I'm like, yo, Drew Brees throw footballs. Like, yo, this nigga is not, why his voice is important? Hey, he can say what he want to say, but his voice is, like, are you kidding me? It was shit like that that's making me annoyed, man.
That's that 90s shit, man. That's that late 90s shit when people start talking all that shit about that mid 90s, like maybe like 95 or some shit, 96. When it was just like, I say about 95, when they started doing this weird shit like, it's okay for boys to cry. It's okay for your son to write a journal. It's okay for your... You know what I'm saying? There's like this weird shit. Now we get older, and now Donald Trump become president. Van Jones on TV. Donald Trump's president. I'm like, you're crying because of the president? You're crying on TV, a grown-ass fucking man? Drew Brees say something. Grown-ass man. Oh, Drew Brees. Oh, the hell? You a man, yo. Y'all football players. And y'all crying because of words? Words? And these people going to talk about, we're going to fight white supremacy. We're going to take down the system. We're going to destroy the system. And then the white man say, go in the house. The fucking coronavirus is out here killing people. Everybody like, stay in the house. Stay in the house. Like, Trump is exposing a lot of shit. He's like a fucking flashlight, yo. Straight up. All this shit that we thought what it was, this shit ain't what it is. And that's why I'm looking at this shit now and I'm just like, listen, black people, our issue is we don't have an economy. No, don't talk to me about no damn restaurant. Don't talk to me about no damn bar. We're not foreigners. We can't have foreign business. Maybe I should say it like that, Snoop. We're not foreigners. We're not foreigners. This is our fucking country too, yo. Before I continue, look at Jack Johnson's PBS special. There's a part in the documentary where Jack Johnson beats the white guy. I don't know his name. I'm going off the top of my head. And when he beats the white dude, they write in the paper, who controls America? This is in the late 1800s. Who controls America? The black or the whites? White people don't control this country. You see what I'm saying? They have to fight to be on top. The only reason why white people can stand where they stand at is because black people stop fighting. This is just as much your country also. Both of us, black and white, both oppressed on the country. Think about that, sister. Because the white man was fighting for his independence from England. And the black man was fighting his independence from the white man. So both of them was oppressed. So the same way white people in this country have industry, black people are supposed to have industry. We're supposed to be making and producing and creating and hiring and things like that. That's what we got to do. That's what we need. We don't need restaurants and all kind of shit like that. That's not the type of shit that we need. We need shit where we're making things. What are the things that we need to be making? Everything that's not made by black people. That's what we think. If something's made in this country or around the world and black people don't make it, then that means a black person should be making it. That's how we have to think. That's how you build an economy. What do I mean when I say we're not immigrants? What I mean by that, I mean foreigners. What I mean by that is when a foreigner comes into the country, a foreigner can open up a restaurant and rely on the community to spend their money in their restaurant to get money. You're not a foreigner. You think about businesses that you're making, producing, and selling this shit, and you're hiring people. We have to create and build shit. Hire each other. That's how we lower our unemployment. Black unemployment rate skyrocket. Yeah, you know why? Because we depend on another race of people to employ us. So who you think they're going to make sure eats? Them or us? Their people or us? So you don't understand. You know what I'm saying? And we call that racism. No, that's not racism. That's called what you're supposed to do. Go on, Smoke, for a second.
Oh, yeah, man. It's like I was saying earlier, man, it's like the more we strengthen ourselves, the less those things like that impact us. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, we can call it whatever you want, but as long as we can employ ourselves, you know, that fact of how we look and how we talk in the workplace, that don't come into effect. Our culture don't come into effect with it. You know what I'm saying? With it doesn't affect us whether we're gonna get a job or not. We don't have to look at the acceptance of others to get those employment opportunities or to get paid fairly. You know, we can insulate ourselves from that. by building up our economy.
Yeah.
I mean, secondly is like when we have our businesses, you know, you mentioned restaurants, but you know, a lot of common things we do is like you see a clothing company. You know what I mean? Like, I got a clothing brand. But when you think about it, it's like the shirts themselves, they don't come from black people. Like, you don't create the shirt. You know what I mean? You buy the shirt from somebody. You know, that shirt is made from cotton or some other material. Well, that comes from somewhere. And so, like, we got to think in terms of that bottom material, like creating the cotton. So, in a case like that, we would have you have land where you grow cotton. You have the machinery to pick it, to take it to the factory. You know, black people own the factory. They employ people in that factory. They create the shirt. We don't come in until that shirt is created, and then we try to make the rest of the profit. So we got to create something to put on the shirt. Right. That's going to cost. We got to pay somebody to put it on there, and then so you getting very little off of it. You know what I'm saying? Whereas if you control that whole process, or at least the benefactors of it was black people, even if you still do the same process. I still get the shirt, I just throw it on there, I put an upcharge on it, I sell it. But at least you know when you buy these shirts, it's benefiting black families. Because that's who owns the factory, that's who owns the field, that's who owns the machinery, or the companies that own the machinery that come in and pick the cotton. You know what I'm saying? And so we can go from slaves picking cotton to fucking bosses picking cotton. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's just one factor.
Not even just the bosses picking cotton. The people picking the cotton could be the homeless.
Yeah.
So instead of them on the corner with signs and shit
that's a good point.
Yeah, they could be the ones picking the shit like that.
Build your life up.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Where they making a little income and shit like that. We don't got to rely on Mexican work and no shit like that. We got our own downtrodden people, you know what I'm saying, who need the, you know what I'm saying, a hand up and shit like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's how you fix shit.
That's a good point.
Then when the white man economy crashes like it always crashes, and they have recessions, that don't mean black people got to suffer. That don't mean black people got to lose jobs. That don't mean black wealth is eliminated. No. See, we sit here and we say dumb shit like it's good, Smoke. Oh, you know, if the white man have a cold, white America have a cold, black America have pneumonia.
Get the flu or something. Yeah.
Shit. Like, how you say that and don't want to fix that? You know what I'm saying? That's like saying every time it rains, the water go through the roof and wet up my bed. Okay. How long has this been going on? 100 years. Really? No plans on changing this shit. This is just what it is. Wow. You know what I'm saying? And that's my whole point. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. And that's where we at right now as black people. And that's why I said in the last show, and it might sound fucked up, but we're not in a position to fight. We're not in a position to protest. We're not in a position. We have to do what the Chinese did. We have to scale back and pull back as a people. And we have to worry about race first. Just like the Latinos do. They worry about race first. Just like the whites do. Let me give you an example of how whites worry about race first too, Smoke. You go into their neighborhood and they don't recognize you, they running up on your ass. And they don't know who the fuck you is. And guess what, Smoke? They ain't 20 years old. These be 50-year-old motherfuckers. Hold on, homie, what's up? Old gangster.
Yeah.
Old gangster. Our neighborhood, white man walk up in your neighborhood, our gangsters straighten up.
We getting the fuck from out of there. That shit ain't right. You go leave.
I'm scared of a white man in the street. You know what I'm saying? Like, slave shit. So the Chinese, this is how they protect their shit and they race first. You go to the Chinese and you try to get infiltrate their economy, or you try to talk to them and try to find out shit, they'll hit you with the language barrier. Oh, taka 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 taka, tiki 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 taka. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh shit, I don't even understand. They just shit up on my ass. You know what I'm saying? They out here fucking plotting on me and shit. I can't even hear it. So now you got all these different shits. The East Indians, all of them, the same shit. So everybody switch it up, and then we'll sit over here and we'll be like, oh, it's racist. It's racist. It ain't racist. You know what it is? You broke. That's what it is. You're fucking broke. Now, see, I got to switch it from the weak side, Smoke. The weak side was talking about, oh, woe is me. This is, how these groups do us. Now let's talk about on the group side. You white, right? Now you're looking at this black person. They're not connected to the economy. So when you see them, what do you see? I'm gonna put it to you this way, Smoke.
Criminal.
No, I'm not even gonna put it on the criminal part. I'm gonna put it to you like this on some family shit. Your life good. You got your whole family straight, money great, all that shit, right? But now you got your brother whose money ain't right, all that other shit, right? You know he ain't got no job, none of that shit, right? Now he coming to see you. What's the first thing on your mind?
Oh, damn. They're going to ask you for some.
That's racist, though, right? It's racist. Because now I'm not looking at you as an actor. I'm looking at
you crazy.
What I'm saying is, like, what do you want? What do you want? What do you need? I don't see value. And if I do see value in you, I'm going to exploit you because I know you're not going to know your worth because you're not connected to it. And that's what we don't get. When we're connected to an economy, then guess what? You're not going. Them Chinese ain't going to be walking to you while they clean their toes. They're going to be talking English, speaking to you because they know, oh, this is somebody. You dig what I'm saying? But no,
they don't have because they don't. These black people don't gotta come here. They got plenty of fucking joints, and I'm gonna value this dollar right here because they can go into their own community and come in. My service got to be 100%, 1,000% in order for me to get black dollars because they got their own version of this, and they don't have to come here. Now I gotta compete. Now I gotta offer discounts. And now I gotta be extra. Now what? Curse a black woman out? What? Are you crazy? We get them their money back when they dissatisfied.
Exactly.
There's no disrespect. Like that shit is not happening because they don't have to come over here.
But we don't get it. Get that shit. And then when you try to explain that shit to some black people, what happened? When you try to explain that shit to some black people, what happened next is, they want to hit you with like, that sounds like some reverse racism. That sounds like hate. That sounds like... No, that sounds like correcting the fucking problem. That's what it sounds like. If you a woman and you getting your ass beat by your man, and I'll be like, yo, why don't you go and fucking take some fucking self-defense classes? Some shit, you know what I'm saying? Or why don't you stack your bread and leave? And you like, I don't know. See, you're fighting against the solution. The solution to our problem isn't marching and fucking trying to get one act passed after fucking hundred thousands of fucking murders. You know what I'm saying? Like, because again, it's been going on for hundreds of years. And I ain't talking about slavery. I'm talking about the inaction of police force. 1917, I want to say it is. We're over 100 years from the first silent protest. Black silent protest of police aggression and violence towards black people in America. It's over 100 years. The very first protest was a silent protest with black man, black woman, and black child. Look it up. So we're now, after all of that, we're now going to get a little piece of legislation that we're going to try to do to add some reform to the police force. Okay, that's great. And then everybody's going to feel good and leave it alone. But then the question again happens, but how does this improve our communities? It doesn't. Well, how do you improve your community? We have to rebuild our economy. And no, that does not mean everybody has to come together. That just means like-minded minds, people who have means, people who have ideas, people who can do it. Try it. Fail at it. But we have to. You see what I'm saying? Because if we don't, another 500 years is going to go by, and we're going to be having the same conversation. And trust me, another 500 years, Smoke, trust me, you're going to have some silly-ass Negroes talking about, we have to educate the white man about discrimination and racism because he don't know how it is to be black. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be the same silly, stupid shit, y'all. It's going to be in the, you know what I'm saying? This shit is going to be in the future. You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather it to be like, yo, let's really understand what it is. Black Wall Street and all that shit like that. They like to tell y'all, oh, we have Black Wall Street and we have all these black towns and all kind of shit like that, and the white man burnt it down. No. We did not have black towns in America. We had black economies in America. That's what we had. Black economies. When you say we had black towns, then these silly Negroes start thinking about buildings and neighborhoods. And that's why everybody keeps thinking the people mind frame must have been a certain way. No, they wasn't. It was a handful of people, probably one or two really. But a lot of times it's like one person, you know what I'm saying? But let's say it's like 5 people who own certain industries in that town, which was able to hire blacks. So once you're able to hire black people and give them a paycheck, guess what that black person can do, Smoke? They can now go to their local black barbershop and spend money there. And their local black movie theater. That's when the consumer-based business works.
You power up the economy.
And guess what happens next, Smoke? Guess what happened next? Now the dollar bounced in this community 45 times before it leaves the community. Yeah. But it starts with an industry. Now here's what happens, Smoke. We don't do the industry. We do the consumer base. So now what makes the consumer-based business work? The barbershop, the restaurant, etc., etc. Somebody going inside there to spend money. So I can't a paying customer. So this paying customer need a paying job, right? So if there's high unemployment, there's a high chance that your business is going to fail. And if there's low unemployment, you have a better chance that your business will succeed. But that means your business is only is centered around and predicated on white people hiring or not hiring people in your community. So what happens is you start to, I don't want a business in the black community because there ain't no money in the black community. We got to put it in the city to get other races. You know what I'm saying? And nobody says to themselves, well, why the fuck the Chinese always in our neighborhood? There's no money. But we don't get it. We don't get the game. And that's why it's very important for us to get a fucking rebuild our economy and get our economy up. Because when we have that, then we'll be just like the Latinos in Little Village. And we'll have our black aldermen. And we'll have the police commissioner who's going to be black speaking and defending us when they say, oh, these black people was, these black men was a little antagonistic towards the non-fucking blacks driving through the neighborhood. They was trying to make sure there was no shooting going on in their communities. So that's the reason why. So the Bloods was on this end of the street protecting the neighborhood, and the Crips was on that end of the street protecting the neighborhoods, and the GDs and the folks and the vice lords, they was all over. They was making sure the community was safe, says the police commissioner of Little Africa. You know what I'm saying? That's the police. That shit about our shit. So it's like, for us to get that, guess what you need? You need, okay, so check this, Smoke. So if you go to Vlad and go to the Sosa, Dexter Sosa interview, he got the one, I think it's part 17, I'm not sure, right? But it's the one, he goes, how do they bribe the police and shit?
Right. That's what I know.
Yeah, he was like, they basically walk up to them. They underpaid. They want to
come up to you.
You know what I'm saying?
They throw the line out. That's basically what he
Yeah. So if you're making money in your community as a business, legitimate businessman, yeah, then you donate to the fucking local cops and all kind of shit like that. You make sure your guy there and all kind of shit like that. Guess what? The community's safe. Ain't no harassment. You know what I'm saying? You're not worrying about getting beat the fuck down. If you driving and shit like that and your fucking tags is expired or some shit like that, guess what? The cops will be like, hey, listen, it's a warning, man. Get out of here.
Just go home, man.
You know what I'm saying? Because, hey, that's what happens. What we don't understand is they sick the police on us. It's not that, oh, the police, they're sitting over here, they're just racist, like as the idea, as an entity, the police, you know what I'm saying? Like law enforcement. Like they're just out here fucking with blacks. No. They're sick on us. That's why they do, that's why that happened. That's why they don't do that to the Asians. They don't do that to, you know what I'm saying, and shit like that. Because they're sick on us. That's what we don't get. The guy that called from the store about the $20 bill for the George Floyd situation, like, come on, he ain't have to call that shit. He sicked them on him because the police protects the businesses. The police protect businesses. So when you sit over here now and you're a business owner, you're protected by a gang. You're paying protection. No different if you're paying protection from getting extorted in some third world country. You're being extorted by a gang, and that gang is called the police. And you have to pay them. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? When you pay them, you know the cops in the neighborhood, they protect your area, your store, and all that shit. If you're caught drinking or some shit like that, yo, give me a call. I'll talk to my guy, get the ticket thrown out. That's how they operate. So you don't get mad at that. You say to yourself, damn, we have to get an economy. We have to have a town. We have to create an atmosphere where we control the wealth in our community through economy, meaning we control the police, the education, we control the banking, we control, you know what I'm saying, transportation, all of that shit, we control that shit. And all of that is all of the factors. And once that happens, guess what? You're not going to worry about listening to a story about a little black girl can't go getting harassed because she got Afro puffs, or this black boy he got dreadlocks, or this black man because he's dark skinned, or this black girl can't get a job because her name is funny or some shit like that. None of that mean shit. Black women dying at the hospitals and shit. No, because that's a black hospital. HIV is rising up in the black community, not this community, because we got clinics over here and we got hospitals where we're really doing the research and maintaining and making sure, you know what I'm saying, the spread and all kind of shit like that. But for us to do it, we have to build an economy and we have to be race first, and that's what we're scared of.
Facts. Exactly. That's the fucking rundown right there.
You know what I'm saying?
Straight up.
And that's when I see all this other shit, I just look at it and be like, wow, there ain't nothing else to talk about because it's fake. Like I said, when I'm looking at the protesters and I'm seeing peaceful, violent, and this other strange group, I said, I know what's going on. They separated the peaceful and the violent protesters to get rid of the violent protesters, to keep the peaceful and that other group together. They're like the police the protesters. Like literally, yo, I'm watching some of them shits and you'll see the shit go like, and it's how you can tell they're different groups. But you think they're the same, but they're not. So I saw one girl, she run up to the front of the police, and I'm thinking she's like in his face or whatever. But no, what I realize is she's talking to the cops. And then she's later on, she's telling the group, because the group, they standing out there staring at the police, all that shit. She's like, listen up. We need to go. Let's go up the block to another area to protest. And they're like, hell no, we here. Fuck that. So she like,
no.
You're here about a curfew. They're really going to hurt you. They said they intend to hurt you. And I don't want none of y'all to get hurt. So if you following me, follow me and we'll go someplace else to protest. But if, what she said, but if you choose to stay, that's up to you. And I said, what kind of fucking protest is this? And then the people, they the crowd. So they'll have their hands, you'll see them with their hands up, shit. And then they'll be like, okay, this way, stick with the crowd, stick with the crowd, stick with the crowd. We're stronger in numbers. What the fuck is this?
We control, that whole shit is controlled.
Everything's controlled, so you know what I'm saying? So you have to understand that. So they're watering down even the protests. So that lets you know, black people, it's over, homie. It's over. You took too fucking long. It's over. All of the other people like to take smoke. We're getting to the end. It's almost over. We got time, but we need to do it because it's almost over. No, that's just done. It's over. Game's over. The only thing for black people to do right now is start over. That's it. Mark my words.
Rebuild Black America. Rebuild Black America.
That's the only way. And until then, we'll build more on it. But y'all just gotta have to, you know what I'm saying, digest that little part right there then. Alright? But you want to leave out with anything?
Right. Nah, thanks for listening again. Another week in the building.
All right.